Good afternoon, everyone. This is Attorney Ahmad Yakzan from the American Dream Law Office, coming here to you on like we do every single Wednesday. We're here to discuss your legal questions, and I got some questions before I got on the air, and then we have some questions. Hopefully, we get some questions from everyone today, so we can answer them. I am Attorney Ahmad Yakzan again, and I am the owner of the American Dream Law Office. If you're watching us from TikTok, I would really appreciate some hearts and follows. We're almost at that 10,000 followers mark. So if you can do it, I would really appreciate it if you can help us reach that 10,000 likes and 10,000 followers benchmark. I would really appreciate it. If you are with us from if you're here with us from all the other social media, we're here on YouTube, we're here on Instagram, we're on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn. So if you're joining us from there, I would really appreciate a follow too on those. If you are on our YouTube channel, I would really appreciate a follow and some likes of our videos. I really hope that you find these videos very informative, because my staff and I go through every single video and make sure that we're actually doing a good job with that. So if you like the videos, especially on YouTube, I would really appreciate a like on those, and a follow on our YouTube channel. We're trying to get some followers on there. We have about 20,000 followers on Facebook, about 1,500 on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, YouTube, or on TikTok, I would really appreciate the follow. Thank you so much, guys. I have some questions here. And some of the questions I can answer. Some of them are very complicated. I will go through as much as I can. I would go through some of the more complicated questions. And then if you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them. I have my chat open, and I have the chat on TikTok open too. So the first question is, I have, can the grandfather apply for his granddaughter to get the green card? In some cases, yes. And in some cases, a grandparent can actually apply for a granddaughter for citizenship. It's called an N600K petition, especially if the U.S. citizen parent died within the last 5 years, then you can actually do that as a grandparent. But for a straight green card, that is not actually one of the preference categories. You can actually, so if you're trying to do a family petition, for the granddaughter, is going to be an issue, because there's no preference for that. That's not one of the things that we can, but he can apply for the father or the daughter, his father and his daughter, and then the granddaughter can actually get a derivative green card, as we call it. So that's the first question that we have. Actually, it's a thinker. It's a very complicated case, but I love those. So keep sending them to us every week. So the second question I have is, my daughter was out of the country for 9 months. Can she apply for citizenship next year? That really depends. And I'm going to answer this because I get this question a lot, and we get it from a lot of people from the Middle East who come here to get the green card and then go back to their country and not really live here in the United States while they're on permanent residence. So the issue that we have, is, if she stays outside of 6 months, can she actually apply for citizenship? It depends on a lot of things. There is something called a abandonment of residence. When you become a permanent resident of the United States, there is something called that you give the U.S. government the promise that you're going to make the United States your home. And if you don't actually make the United States home, there's going to be an issue with your residence. So that the issue that we have is, if she stayed outside the United States for 9 months, can she still apply for citizenship? Now, that depends. There are some exceptions to the rules here. So, but before we actually answer that, we have to talk about abandonment of residence. And what does that mean? That means that you stayed outside the United States for so long, you don't want to keep you want to abandon your green card. That's pretty much it. So if you actually have a green card and stay outside the United States for more than 180 days, that means that there's a rebuttable presumption of abandonment, which means you're thinking about abandoning, but you didn't really abandon yet. If you stay outside the country for more than a year, then your green card expires automatically. That's what the law says. Is if you stay outside the country, you're done. And I mean, you can try to come back and do and reclaim your permanent residence, but you have to be here for between a year and a half to 4 years, and then a year and a half to 2 years, and then you'll have to apply for citizenship afterwards. So you can, even if you stay outside the country for more than what you're supposed to, you can actually get the green card. You can actually still get your green card reinstated and apply for your citizenship. Now, the daughter stayed outside the United States for 9 months. That she didn't go over the 1 year mark. Then that means that she still has a rebuttable presumption. It's not a presumption. It's not an absolute presumption. So there is a rebuttable presumption that she actually wanted to keep her permanent residence, which means you can prove that she didn't want to abandon by saying she was going to school, things like that. So you can still prove that she didn't want to abandon. Now, this daughter stayed for 9 months outside the United States. That might be an issue when she applies for citizenship. But if she's under 18 and one of the parents actually became a U.S. citizen before she turned 18, then it won't matter if she abandoned her residence or not, because she can come in and actually become a citizen right away. So she would derive her citizenship from her United States citizen child. A parent. So if you have that question, please don't leave the country and stay outside the country for a very long time. Talk to a lawyer. There is a way around it. If you want to stay outside the country for more than a year or so, there is a way around it. Call us, let us know, and I'll be more than happy to help with that. Please don't leave and stay for an extended amount of time without speaking to an attorney. I got a question here. I don't know what the person meant. But they said, can a felon be an attorney? Actually, it really depends on state law, and I have no idea. But you can apply for your licensure in certain states, and you just have to make your case when you apply to be admitted in front of the state bar. So can felons? Yeah, absolutely. The lawyer who was representing Nixon, for example, and when he resigned and he went and committed perjury in front of Congress, was actually technically a felon, and he got his license to practice law back. So there are some spaces where you can, states where you can actually get your license back even if it's taken away from you. So that really depends on state law. And I would really appreciate it if we keep the questions regarding immigration. I would really appreciate it, because I can't really give advice on other state laws other than Washington, D.C. and Florida. If you guys on TikTok can share my live, I would really appreciate it. We're going to be here for about 20 more minutes or so. So if you want to share my TikTok live, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. So the question that I have is, after the medical exam, how long will it take to get a green card? It depends. There are a couple of things that we have to think about. And again, I want to tell you, these are just estimates. I have no idea, and I don't have a glass ball when it comes to immigration and USCIS actually, and USCIS actually be in. And and USCIS, what their timelines are like. But things have been really slowing down since they started waiving interviews. About 95% of my clients, we do such a good job that they don't actually have to go to an interview. When I get an interview for a green card case now in Tampa or anywhere around the state, I start questioning if we did our job or not. But sometimes they just didn't ask for the right things. They wanted to talk about their relationship, things that we can't really prove, or the relationship is still early, so we can't really show that they have a lot in common. That the clients have a lot of common. That's why that sometimes the client actually, I mean, the USCIS calls us in for an interview. Now, the medical exam, if they're asking you for a medical exam and they're not waiting until you go to the interview for the medical exam, that's actually a very good sign that they're going to waive your interview for you. So that depends. The answer to that question is going to depend on how long the local office has taken to schedule interviews, and that honestly has more to do with the local office in your jurisdiction or where your case is pending than anywhere. So it depends. The answer to the question is it depends on how long your local field office is taking for them to actually either waive the interview or schedule you for an interview. And these vary. I mean, down in Miami, it's taken 3 years, which is a very long time. So I'm just saying that the answer to the question depends on a lot of things that I can't really answer. So does USCIS have jurisdiction over arriving aliens in removal proceedings? I really don't know. I don't know what you mean. The question is a little convoluted, but if you're asking me if you can apply for a benefit in front of USCIS if you're an arriving alien, and you're in removal proceedings, then absolutely you can. The problem is you can't do a lot of things in removal proceedings. You can apply for the green card, but the green card cannot be approved by USCIS. It has to be approved by the immigration judge that has jurisdiction over your case. So it depends on why you're an arriving alien, especially if you're an arriving alien because of trafficking offense or something like that. It's going to be a big issue. But USCIS does have jurisdiction over some petitions, but it doesn't have jurisdictions over everything. So that's why the question is a little convoluted and it's not clear. If you can clarify it, I can answer. I think we have. All right. Someone asked us, don't have any legal status, got promoted at work, includes lots of travel in the US, advice, recommend. I would really like you to give the office a call. The phone number is 888-963-7326. I'm going to talk in very general terms because I don't want to give legal advice on TikTok like this. But if you have a work permit, you're allowed to work in the United States. That's not going to be the issue. The issue is going to be if you travel outside the United States, you're going to trigger what's called inadmissibility, and you're not going to be able to come back into the country. So as long as you're traveling in the United States, you should be okay. Don't go to the Virgin Islands because then you will have to be you will be an applicant for admission if you do that. But if you are traveling in the United States, you should be okay. But give me a call. There are some things that the president is doing that might be able to help you get a work visa. Give me a call. Again, the number is 888-963-7326. And if you are joining us from outside the United States, our WhatsApp number is +1 727 301 9328. Again, that's +1 727 301 9328. Let me see if we have any other questions. How long does it take to get a green card after marriage to a United States citizen? I answered that question earlier. It really depends on your local field office, especially if your green card, especially if USCIS field office waives your interview, is going to depend on how long they're taking to schedule an interview for you. So that's what I said earlier. So I've seen cases go. I had green card cases done within about 9 weeks or so, and I've seen cases penned for 2.5 years. So it really depends on your local office. Thank you. All right, so we have some more questions on TikTok. It says here, I was married and tried to adjust status but lied in an answer. What can I do? Again, I please don't share any personal information here. I don't want USCS to be watching this by any chance and have a problem, and this will count as an admission. Please understand that anything I say in this in these live videos is not legal advice, and it does not pertain to you. So if you would like to get my information, again, the phone number is 888-963-7326. We're open 24/7. Call and make an appointment with me. I'm going to take this as a general question. One of the ways to be refused a green card or an immigrant visa is for you not to tell the truth to an immigration officer when you're trying to get a green card. So that once you commit a misrepresentation, this is going to be a huge issue on your background, and it's going to be an issue if you're trying to adjust your status. So once you get a misrepresentation finding on your background, the government is going to ask you for it. If you qualify, if you're the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, you can apply for a waiver of that misrepresentation, and you might be able to get it. Now you have to have a qualifying relative who is a spouse, parent, or a child under 21, and you have to prove hardship. So even if you lied to a U.S. government employee, doesn't mean that you're going to get denied your green card or whatever benefit you're getting, because the benefit actually applies to every single benefit that you're trying to apply in front of USCIS. Now, I've had so many of these cases in court and in front of USCIS, and I've beat them so many times before. Now, again, this is not a guarantee, and this is not legal advice on how to beat your case. But there are several things that you can do as the attorney or the applicant to actually prove that you did not lie. Even though it sounds like a lie to the officer, sometimes, you misunderstood the question. You didn't have to intend to deceive or anything like that. I just had a case in immigration court this past week where they put the guy in removal proceedings for a misrepresentation, removal proceedings, and he penned it. The removal proceedings pended for about 4 years or so before we were able to go in front of the judge, and I was able to argue, listen, he didn't actually lie. He didn't say anything. He didn't misrepresent any issues that are material to the case. You need to allow him to adjust his status or keep his green card. And finally, the attorney up, the ICE attorney up in Orlando agreed with me and dismissed the case because they didn't have a case. So just because you think you made a misrepresentation doesn't mean that that you actually are inadmissible, because you still have to prove so many things for you to actually prove that inadmissibility or deportability for misrepresentation. So don't let it go and say, okay, I lied. Call me 888-963-7326. I'll be more than happy to help. And you guys on TikTok, I would really appreciate if we hit that 1,000 mark. I think we're about 200 likes away. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to take one of my questions and then go back to your questions. I would like to, before I got my U.S. citizenship, I was in removal proceedings. Will this affect me in the future? So I've had those cases, as I said. About 14 years ago, when I first started practicing immigration law, I had a couple come into my office, my old office where I used to work, and tell me, we're selling our big 80-inch plasma TV for $100. We need to get out of here. The judge ordered us removed from the United States. What can you do to help us stay here? And I took their file. I looked at it, and there was one piece of paper missing from that file. And I remember that case until today. One piece of paper missing. I appealed the case to the Board of Immigration Appeals. They agreed with me. Came back to the immigration court, moved to dismiss the case, terminate the case, and the judge terminated it. And the case has to go back after that. The case has to actually go back to the immigration court and back to USCIS for them to deal with the still pending N-400. So at that point, about 3 years later, they still became citizens, and he was crying so hard on the phone when I was speaking to him. He was so happy. So he went from literally selling selling everything pennies on the dollar for him to actually be a U.S. citizen, and that was one of the most memorable cases I've had. So if you are in if you are in removal proceedings, it shouldn't affect you. The problem is you can't leave the country until that removal proceeding is done, or you self-deport. So you don't really want to do that. So make sure that in your removal proceedings, please hire a competent attorney. Don't hire the attorney who's going to charge you minimum amount of money, because they're not going to fight for you. Um, you get what you pay for in our business, I promise. And you need someone to fight for you tooth and nail for them to win. And that's what I do every single day for every single client that hires me. So if you want to call us, again, the number is 888-963-7326. Or if you're watching us from outside the United States, go to my website, is americandreamlawoffice.com, and look at what we've done, look at our videos, look at everything we've done. Schedule an appointment with me, and I'll be more than happy to help. Okay, so let's take. My girl has an 8-year medical degree in Kenya. What's the path to come here? Again, I don't want to answer all of these questions like this, guys. If you have a personal question, either send it on a DM to me, please, or call my office and schedule an appointment to speak to me. I would really appreciate it. I would rather do that, just because I don't want to speak to anybody, and I don't want to speak about everybody's particular case on a live video like this. So call me, go to my website, schedule an appointment, and then we can talk. Okay, guys. I mean, you should be really proud of your girl, man. She has an 8-year medical degree. But give me a call, schedule something with me, and I'll be more than happy to speak to you. All right. So if you come, so let me see. All right, let me see. Hi, can late 751 be approved if you're still married? Absolutely, I've done those a million times. So as long as you're not in removal proceedings, we should. There are ways to actually go around the late filing. I just did one that actually didn't file for about 4 years. Before, I've done one that was on CR1 for a very long time, for about 5 years or so, and I was able to actually get her naturalized. It was just a problem with the case that was pending for too long. So yes, if you're on 751 and you haven't filed it on time, we can file again. Okay, where you work from? I have offices all over the United States. My main office is in Tampa. We do have an office in Orlando, Miami, New York, and Washington, D.C. I represent people literally all over the world. I tell people that I've represented everybody except the penguins in Antarctica. You don't want a lot of immigrants believe that they need to hire someone who speaks their language. That helps. But if the attorney who speaks your language stinks, you did yourself a disservice. So just because you're from a country, you're not Arab or anything, I've represented everybody. So if you need to give me a call, I'll be more than happy to help. So again, we work from the United States. I have affiliate offices all over the world, but our cases are in the United States. And again, I do cases all over the world. We do cases in the Middle East all the time, Europe, Canada, everywhere. Call us, and if we can't call you, we can do a Zoom call, and we'll be able to discuss your case. It says here, ICE officer terminated my case. Does that mean I'm not in removal proceedings? If the ICE officer is the one that terminated your case, that doesn't make sense. And that's one of the questions where I would rather you call me than actually do this. If they closed your removal proceedings, that's different from terminating your removal proceedings, because your removal proceedings can only be terminated by an immigration judge. So if the ICE officer terminated your case, I really don't know what that means. But if the ICE officer terminated your case, there are some questions that I have, and I would rather you call me. Call me with your questions. I would really appreciate it. Okay. This is probably going to be the last couple of questions that I take, guys. I'm DACA, graduated with engineering degree, not married. Does Biden new rule apply to me? Now, the problem is we don't know. One of the things in the proclamation that he signed, he did say that he's going to allow people who are here on DACA to apply for work visas, for employers to be able to apply for work visas for DACA recipients, which means you're going to have to leave the country and come back. They're going to work with the State Department to actually get that done. So you're going to have to leave the country, cure the problem that you have with entry, and then come back into the United States. So yes, the Biden rule is going to apply to you, but we can't really know until the rule actually comes out, and it hasn't come out. So I'm going to end on this. If anyone asks you to pay them money because of the new Biden rule, they are scamming you, because the Biden rule is not in effect yet. That's on USCIS's website. They haven't published the Federal Register publication yet. So there is nothing to be paid, even to an attorney, for you to be for them to actually do something under the Biden administration new rule. So please don't pay anyone to do something under the Biden rule until the Biden rule is in effect. And right now it's not. So do not pay anyone a single dollar to do something under the new Biden rule, because it's not in effect yet. Please don't get scammed. A lot of people, including notarios, are starting to scam people, and they have been for a couple of months. So please don't do it. Guys, I really appreciate you following me today. Again, this video is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you don't follow us on there and you only follow us on TikTok, I would really appreciate if you go follow us on all of these other channels. All of them are at American Dream Law Office. It's very easy. All the handles are the same. If you need to speak to me, I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate if you can call me. Again, the phone number from the United States is 888-963-7326. And we're available at that number 24/7. But if you're calling us from outside the United States, the phone number for WhatsApp is +1 727 301 9328. So +1 727 301 9328. Give us a call, and I'll be more than happy to help in any way. I really appreciate it, guys. You really gave me a lot of hearts, and I really appreciate it. I think this is the most hearts I've gotten in a long time on TikTok. If you follow me on the other channels, I would really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Again, I'm going to be back here on Wednesday, next Wednesday at the same time at 2:30. Give us a call, and I'll be more than happy to help. Take care, guys.